I'm Chris Gardner, speaking with Scott Pera, Rice Owls men's basketball head coach. Coach, how are you? Thank you for joining me.
Hey, Chris, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Real quick, let's just recap the 2020-2021 season, the COVID year. How difficult was it for you personally and then as a coach during the season?
Extremely challenging on many levels. You mentioned personal and in the coaching, kind of intertwined in my world. I mean, obviously, first and foremost was, worried about the health of and safety of my family and my wife and two girls. And then obviously the basketball program, my players and staff as well. So it was, there's no way around it. It was extremely stressful. It was difficult. It was challenging, like for everybody in whatever field they were in and whatever part of or whatever stage of life they're in. It was a challenge. But we just went day to day, and we actually were fortunate and blessed that we got to play a season, 95% of one anyway, 28 games, and so we'll take it.
And you said 28 games. The team went 15-13. I think you've been at Rice 4 seasons now, and you had improved upon that each year. So where would you rank last season in terms of the plan going forward? Your mindset for the program, your plan for the program?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think it was a huge part of the growth of the program. You spend those first couple of years, laying groundwork and trying to get everything kind of, how you want it, moving forward and seeing the big picture. And even though you're taking a lot of losses, you still have a plan and you stick to that plan. And then, sometimes that plan gets derailed. You don't expect a pandemic to hit of the country. You don't expect that pandemic then to maybe cause other things to happen, like, Trey and Drew leaving. And so we've always been able to adjust well. We don't panic when adversity strikes. We kept we had to alter the plan at some a little bit, but we ended up getting, a really good group of kids during the COVID time. And then to watch the growth of the kids during the year was really, really enjoyable because we feel right now, and we felt it during the year last year, we got the right group of guys. We're all kind of, use the cliche, rowing in the same direction. And we're very excited about where we're going.
And the team won 2 games in the CUSA tournament for the first time in a while. How satisfying was that for you?
Oh, it was great. My first 2 years, we didn't win one, we didn't get invited once and didn't win the next 2. And so to get over that hump and get that is good. But the other part of that was really good, Chris, is to play 3 games in 3 days. So the guys see what that's like. I know it ended in the quarterfinal game against UAB, but like I told them, if you have a better seed, that third game in 3 days could be on Saturday for the championship. And that's what we're striving for. And so to get that taste and to do that and to see that preparation and what it takes was just really good. And obviously, the win over Marshall was special, and really proud of how we competed against UAB too, because we certainly were in that one for 35 minutes.
You had Quincy, Olivari, and Travis Evee successful. I think you made all conference honors. Just describe how you've enjoyed their growth through last season.
First of all, you start with everything with this group, and they're great kids. They are 2 terrific young men that they just have a great thirst and desire to be good and the same desire to win. So they're just fun to coach. And so when you're around guys like that, it just, even during COVID, right, those certainly brought underneath the mask, they brought a smile to my face because, and same with the whole group, because they brought the same approach every day. And Quincy and Travis, obviously, are tremendous shooters. And when they got hot and shot it well, we were very difficult to beat. And we're glad to have them back here for a couple more years, too.
How would you describe your coaching style?
We kind of use this little hashtag that I created called Greenlight U. But, we say that in fun sometimes, but it's also true. We give our kids confidence. We obviously shoot a lot of threes. We play fast. I can be demanding on the guys. My passion and energy, I'm not one to I don't do a great job of keeping that in all the time. I wear that on my sleeve. That's just who I am. But this group is used to that. They embrace that. They understand it's coming from a place of love and a place of trying to help them get better and to win. And so that's kind of how we've got to this point.
This summer so far, you're back on the recruiting trail. How is that? How much different has it been going back on the recruiting trail?
Well, you're happy for the kids because they missed that opportunity last year. For us, whether it's Zoom or video or a lot of more, or more phone calls, whatever it may be, I was really proud of what our staff did during that time. Getting out on the road and seeing old friends was fun part of recruiting. Like I said, for the kids to have the opportunity to play in front of coaches, that gets back to some more, part of our normal life. So all that is just positives and been really good.
You were rewarded for your success with the contract extension. How did that, what did that mean to you?
Well, it means that we've had tremendous support from our administration, my athletic director, Dr. Carl Gard. They also have belief in what we've been doing. And I think everybody around this program right now has that same type of belief. We believe we can win most any game that we play. And I know going into this year, that'll be our guys' approach. And that was the fun part of last year. I could see that our team really gaining that confidence, even in some losses, that, hey, there's nobody we can't play with. And now here we got 5 returning starters. We've added some great pieces, and now it's about just getting better, getting older, right, and getting a little tougher.
You mentioned, we talked about Quincy and Travis. Who are the other returners you got coming back?
Well, Chris Mullins, who now will be starting for 4 years, of his career, is a huge piece to what we do. Every team needs that kind of glue guy, right, that has been through all the battles with me since his freshman year. And he's been part of this growth more than anybody because he's been here the whole time. And he's a tremendous defender and a really good, versatile player for us. Max Fiedler, our center, boy, did he come into his own last year and have a terrific sophomore year. We're really excited about all the options he gives us offensively and his toughness and his skill set. And then we also returned Cameron Sheffield and Riley Abercrombie, who kind of split the spot at the 4. Riley started the first maybe 20 or so games and Cam the last 10. And so to have all those guys back, along with, some injured guys coming back and the newcomers, like I said, everybody that's kind of been around us and seen us and talks to this group, they can tell they got a different kind of mindset to them.
So how many players do you have on this year's roster?
Well, walk-ons included, 16.
16. So you can go 5-on-5 if you want to sometimes.
And last year we couldn't even go 5-on-5 in practice
right.
some days. So this is, it's going to look different. Our depth is different, and that allows you to do a whole bunch of different things. Scrimmage more in practice, go live more, try and do some different things maybe in terms of defensively of turning up pressure because we do play fast, and it's hard to play, 35 minutes a game in our system, and that's okay. That's why we recruit how we recruit, and that's why we tried to build this depth.
Who are the newcomers you got joining this team?
The two that stand out are the 2 grad transfers, Carl Pierre from UMass and Terrence McBride from Cornell. Just two kids that fit our culture, fit our locker room perfectly. And when we recruited them, we felt that. We also are obviously happy they're very good players. They both produced at a high level at very good mid-major schools and leagues. And so we're excited to obviously add them to what we have. And then the 2 freshmen, Jaden Garan and Damian McDowell, also tremendous young men, great versatility. Both of them do different things well, and we're really enjoying watching them grow this summer.
Was it difficult recruiting, not having people on campus?
It is. One of the good things or great things about Rice is it can recruit itself in some ways. Number one, the education, you can Google all you want and read for days about how great and incredible the education is. But also when you put a little video out on the campus, it also shines through pretty well about how beautiful the campus is. And then being attached to an incredible city of Houston, that also is something that is easy to sell even over a Zoom. So, those things kind of helped us. And then our style of play and the videos and our staff and the guys we have and the kind of the unique staff we have with 3 guys that are on my staff that used to play for me. We talk all the time about people talking about family, but we walk it, here.
I think you've known James Harden for a few years. Just describe that relationship you have with James Harden.
Well, it's unique. What an incredible situation to be here for 7 years with him in this city. You just never know where life's going to take you. I try to appreciate and enjoy, each of those seasons and each of those days that, we were in the same city together. I know how much he supported us. I know he feels how much I supported him. Selfishly, I didn't want him traded. But for him, I know that's what he wanted. And certainly, the injuries derailed that a little bit for him with him and Kyrie, or maybe there'd been a different champion crowned last night.
How would you describe Conference USA overall?
Incredibly difficult and incredibly underrated. This conference, matches up, in my opinion, with many of the higher mid-major conferences in the country. Whether it's the Atlantic 10, the Mountain West, whatever you want to say, the number of teams we've had to win 20 games, the success we've had in the tournament, the coaches we have in this league, and the talent we have in this league are just, at a very high level. And it's something I think, nationally as a league, we got to keep doing a good job of promoting and getting out there for everyone to see, because every year the NCAA tournament comes around, one of our team beats somebody that's a 3, 4, or 5 seed.
You've seen Charles Bassey for WKU for a while. Mock drafts have him going second round. What are your thoughts on him as a player?
Number one, I'm glad he's out of our league. Number two, here's the thing I was most impressed with Charles. Talented kid, knew the projections. He came back from the injury. And when we went to go play Western Kentucky, we get to the gym about 90 minutes before the game. And both nights, back to back, Friday, because we played in that unique setting. Friday and Saturday night, we got in there 90 minutes before the game, and he was on the court with a coach in a full sweat working out. And right there and then, I said to myself, the kid has a chance. Because if you have that kind of work ethic and that kind of motivation to go with that, that size and skill set, then, I think you'll have a chance to do well in the league.
You touched on it a little bit there, the unique scheduling last season because of COVID. Will things resume to what will be the Friday, Sunday this season?
Thursday, Saturday. Yes, that's where we're headed back to. I don't know if the thing has been approved yet or not. I know we had a bunch of meetings and discussions on it, but I think that's where we've settled.
Have you finalized your non-conference schedule yet?
We are one game away. But we're going to have some challenges. We're going to go to Texas right before Christmas. We're going to play at U of H, resume that series, which will be fun.
Okay.
Tremendous respect for Kelvin and what they did and have been doing over there. And I think that's just good for the city as well. We're going to play in a MTE, a multi-team event in Florida right before Thanksgiving with 7 other good mid-major schools. That'll be a challenge and fun. So, we're excited.
Coach, you mentioned playing U of H. It seems like every time that you and I talk, I always bring up your thoughts on a Houston City tournament involving Rice, Houston, Texas Southern, Houston Baptist, even Prairie View if necessary, whatever. Are you still in favor of that? Because you're the Philly guy, you're used to the Big Five, and I know how much history that is and how successful it was and continues to be. Just what are your thoughts on the chances of that in Houston?
I have to be careful what I say. Look, I think it would be really neat. The problem is it's really difficult. Non-league scheduling these days, and I got to probably, put Houston is kind of a little different because they've just been so much better than the rest of us in the city that for them, they've got to make sure it makes sense to play. If you're going to say 3 games or 2 games against teams that may have a real high, net ranking or RPI or whatever it is the base they're using it for, so that it doesn't hurt them. And so I kind of get that side of it. Things have changed since the Big Five stuff 20 years ago when teams, that stuff wasn't as much of a factor. There's just many more factors that play into it now. If we could figure out a way to make it work, I believe we would be involved.
Coach, are you an analytics person? Are you big on that?
I have moved a little towards it, yes, for a couple reasons. One, I have a young staff, and the young guys, I think, really are into that. The other part of this is at Rice, we have a great analytics team, and we've actually put some of those kids that have graduated in NBA organizations. And so I pay attention to it more and more as I get older. Some people, as you get older, you do less and less, but I'm actually doing more and more, especially lineup combinations and true shooting percentages and all those types of pace of play and points per possession. So, yeah, I look at all that stuff.
Is that part of your evolution as a coach?
I think it's one of them. No doubt about it, and the other part of it too is I think as I've evolved, and, you try not to be a micromanager so much, and you don't want to have to coach every dribble and every pass. But also I tell the kids on the team, that also comes with me being able to trust more and having better leadership and guys just knowing what to do in certain situations. And I think that's where we're at now in this program. And that excites me because my energy levels not get higher as I get older.
Was it an adjustment for you as a coach to coach at Rice? Because being a student athlete at Rice, you got the basketball, but the academics Rice education is different. Was that an adjustment for you?
Well, first of all, it's what I love about the place. I do love that it's different. I use that word a lot when in recruiting. And I also tell people it's not for everybody. And that's okay. I don't want it to be for everybody. I'm glad that we have our little, academic standard and uniqueness to us. I was at Penn for 2 years. And so that was kind of like a good education for me as to what it would be like to coach at a school, Ivy League or Rice level. And so that really helped me come in here. And I think it's also one of the reasons it helped Dr. Carlgard feel comfortable about me becoming the next coach is that background of the Penn and 3 years as an assistant at Rice that I kind of got it, what it looks like to recruit those types of kids and build that program that can be sustainable. And that's the word I've used over and over and over again since I've been hired is just sustainable. We don't want to, we all want to win 20 games, and maybe we force ourselves to do that this year. But then the following year we want to win 20, and the following year we don't want to go like this and crash in high peaks and valleys. We want to sustain this.
Have you set goals, team goals for this season?
No, my goals are always, can we get better? Can we get better bi-weekly? Can we get better monthly? And are we playing our best in February and March when it matters the most? And those are my goals because I know now with this team, we have enough to win a majority of games. But there's no guarantee we're going to. It takes incredible buy-in, incredible ability to deal with adversity because you're going to take losses, you're going to take your lumps, you're going to deal with injuries. How do you handle all that stuff? How mature is your group? And now we're at the point where I think we're mature enough to handle some of those things. And so wins will take care of themselves if we can take care of those things.
How many games, total number of games on this season?
We should have 31 when the schedule's done.
Do you know off the top of your head right now how many of those 31 will be televised, streamed?
Well, with this new ESPN Plus and ESPN 3 packages that we can do, all the games, I believe, can be seen either through the Conference USA website, through our website, or you get picked up, by a CBS Sports or one of those other entities that cover Conference USA.
Is that something you mentioned to parents in visits?
Absolutely, because most of our kids, we don't have a bunch of kids from Houston or from Texas, right? They're from all over the country because of our ability to recruit the country. So they want to be able to see the games. And so, yes, and that's why I believe it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago, we wired a tutor for the ESPN Plus and ESPN 3 games so that they can be accessible. It's really important.
Coach Scott Pera, is there anything you want to mention that we haven't talked about?
Nah, Chris, I think we covered a pretty wide variety of things. I appreciate you having me as always.
Thank you very much, Coach. And I will do better staying in touch with you this season. I promise you that.
Have a good day, man. No problem.
Thank you very much. You take care.
See ya.